Hey family, do you ever have trouble keeping still while you're waiting for results? Maybe it's medical test results or entrance exam results, or maybe it's waiting for us to be released out of quarantine or wondering when the rioting is going to stop. Whatever it is it hard for you to rest? My name is Patsy White, and I've started a new series called Fear: 7 Ways to Defeat Its Attack on Our Minds. Today I'm going to talk about restlessness. One definition of restless is the inability to rest or relax as a result of anxiety or boredom. Another example is that we can't keep physically still or emotionally restful. We have to stay in motion. In the Amplified Version of James chapter 1 verse 8, he says, being a double-minded man, unstable and restless in all his ways, in everything he thinks, feels, and decides. Double-minded is shorthanded for flip-flopping between spirit and flesh. Leading up to this verse is a description about how we endure trials. He says that we need to that when we are tried, we need to endure, and that endurance produces spiritual maturity. When we don't mature, we have to take the test over and over and over and over again. Thank God for God's mercy and patience. Thank God that God's not like us. But when we're restless, we're not able to rest in God's promises because our mind is too busy. We're trying to figure, we're exhausting ourselves with possibilities because we're not trusting God. And even if our mind isn't going through these kind of contortions, we're still not trusting God and we're not resting in that trust. So James says a double-minded man is restless in everything he thinks, feels, and decides. So we need to capture our thoughts, our feelings, and decisions. Capture means to take one's possession or take over possession through control of force. So here are a few strategies. So one is capture your thoughts. 2 Corinthians 10 and 5 tells us to cast down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bring into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. So we grab a hold of that flip-flopping, flitting, fickle thought process that triggers unstable logic and rationale. And we speak in a commanding voice to those thoughts to get in submission, to focus, and to repeatedly tell them that. Number two, we capture our feelings. Hebrews 4 and 15 says, for we have not a high priest that cannot be touched by the feelings of our infirmities, but was in all ways tempted as we are, but yet without sin. It is significant that the writer in Hebrews says that Christ also had the same feelings as we did, but did not sin. The Amplified calls the infirmities weaknesses and temptations, knowing exactly how it feels to be human. Our feelings about our experiences are the engines that can drive our action. So identifying the target feeling and taking a hold of it is important. It might feel like riding a bronco horse, or a surging whale, but we have to be able to get our feelings in submission to us unwaveringly with determination. Tell those feelings what to do. Those feelings don't tell us what to do. And finally, number three, capture our decisions. Matthew chapter 5, verse 37 says, but let your yes be yes and your no be no. For whatever is more than these is from the evil one. Wow. It says that if we don't have a solid yes or no, no matter what it is, doubt has crept in, and we know where doubt comes from. We are in doubt about God's best wishes for us because we don't have a definite answer, nor are answering with the yes or no, or we give a yes and then it turns to a no. When we are restless in our minds, we cannot settle solidly on a decision. And this instead makes us vulnerable to entertaining outside data. So we trust it doesn't allow us to trust God's decision. So what we do is we make a decision, as godly a decision as we can, and we not only trust that we can make that solid decision, but we trust that God can help us with the consequences of those decisions, good or bad. So when we are restless and can't be still, Know that these are the areas where we're vulnerable. We're vulnerable in our thoughts, in our feelings, and our decision making. So to wrap up, I want to share Psalm 46:10, which says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, and I will be exalted in the earth." You know, the big picture is if we can back up and see just how inconquerable God is, then it will decrease our restlessness and increase our peace and faith, knowing that God is taking care of us. And we don't have to be restless. We can rest in His Word and rest in His promises. Amen. Well, thanks for listening. If this post was helpful to you, please comment below, forward it, or share it with somebody, or put a little icon on the bottom. I appreciate you listening, and I look forward to joining you tomorrow. God bless you.